Hey folks, welcome back to the Lone Pine Tarot, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. Thank you so much for joining me on this blustery October night, or at least that's what it's like here at the time I'm recording this reading for you. And our topic today is, as you can tell by the title down below, a good old-fashioned message from your spirit guides. So I set the intention for our spirit teams to come forward today and just reach out to us with things that they think we need to know, maybe some advice on situations we're going through, and or maybe just offering some comfort in a time of need. So without further ado, let us pick our cards to choose our piles with right now with a good shuffle. So spirit guides collectively for a pile 1, 2, 3. Could you help us pick cards to choose with? Thank you. Okay, I feel like that one right there for pile number 1. Pile number 2 is definitely that one. And last but not least, pile 3. I feel like that one right there. Okay, and let's unveil the cards together. So for our pile number 1 over here on the left, we have number 7, Distorted Perceptions. And the tagline says, reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. So that's pile number 1. Pile 2's in the middle, we have number 39, Perspective. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. Go. And last but not least, for pile 3's here on the right, we have number 35, Presence of Absence. Hold what is absent in the presence of your love. So just to reiterate, pile 1's Distorted Perceptions, pile 2's Perspective, and pile 3, Presence of Absence. So of course you're always free to pause on this part of the video if you need more time to decide what pile you would like read for you, but otherwise, whenever you are ready to hear your spirit guide message today, drop down to the description box below and or the top pinned comment beneath the video. Click on the timestamp there for your reading, and I'll see you in our chat about what your spirit guides want to talk to you about today. See you there. Hello there, pile 1. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on the topic of a message from your spirit guides, what they want you to hear most at the time you're viewing this video. As you recall, the pile leader you chose was number 7, Distorted Perceptions. Reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. So as is our custom, we'll set the pile leader over here to the left. And let's first draw your oracle cards on screen. So spirit guides collectively coming forward for pile 1 today. Could you help us reach the cards that will show the message that they need to hear? Thank you. Okay, I feel like that one right there. There we go. That was not the best shuffle. Let's try that again, pile number 1. Okay, are we ready? There we go, a lot better. Okay, thank you, spirit guides. Okay, well, that was fast. We'll see if any else come out, but... Okay, they were pretty clear that that one was the one, so we'll take it, but... And the last oracle deck today. I feel like that one right there for you, pile 1. And then, of course, we will draw your tarot cards later, but first I want to look at what oracle cards you received. So, we already kind of saw a sneak peek of one, but from Nature's Whispers, at least today, you received number 50, Potential Gateway. Beautiful. Actually, I will shuffle that a little bit further higher here. Okay. And then the one we already kind of saw was number 34. Don't fear change, embrace it and grow. God, that's just a gorgeous picture. There's a figure down here who's just like releasing stardust into the sky. Oh, that's beautiful, pile 1. And last but not least, from Sacred Destiny, you received, oh cute, Happiness with the dolphins. So pile 1, I'm really being intuitively drawn towards a message that tells me you seem to be on the precipice of a gateway somewhere. I mean, not just because literally you've got potential gateway as one of your oracle cards, but there's an interlaced theme here of like not fearing change, running towards light and happiness, being on the cusp of something. I mean, even in a lot of the depictions of your cards here, we have almost a sort of shared symbolism of boundaries. Like in this card, we have almost a line in the middle here of those pink clouds, and above it is light, and below it is darker colors, right? Same thing here, even with the Happiness card of the dolphins, we have ocean on the bottom, a little bit darker colors, and then we have light at the top with the sun. And so I feel like you've been going through this period of time where things have been a little bit more difficult. Things have been a little bit tougher. It's like going through a period of life that is a storm cloud. But your spirit guides are telling me you're right on the cusp, like I said before, opening that doorway into a time of greater light and greater happiness, okay, beyond. However, I think the matter at hand is that you're having a hard time seeing it because what looks like happiness or what looks like a doorway into that greater light is deceiving. And I say that because intuitively over here with the pile leader you were drawn to, Distorted Perceptions, I'll just read it again. It says, reality is rarely what we are raised to believe it is. And so the intuitive message coming through from your spirit team is, yeah, you're on that cusp of happiness. You're right on that doorway. But the thing is I think you're having some trouble seeing it for what it really is, okay? What looks like shadow is actually light, and what looks like light is actually shadow. And so I don't have a specific pin down to exactly what that is. Of course, maybe we'll see more details with the tarot cards that come out later. We haven't even drawn those yet, but just everything that's kind of just rushing through from the oracle cards and the intuitive messages from your spirit team. There's something deceiving here about the happiness you're supposed to go towards. And it's like if you could just turn your vision a little bit to a little bit of a different channel or a different filter, okay? Like, you know how sometimes, the imagery they're showing me is like you taking a picture of yourself and you're going through your phone and you're choosing different filters, and it's like not like this filter doesn't look right and this filter doesn't look right. And it's like if you could just switch to the exact right filter, you'd see the perfection in what already is, or like what's just beyond your grasp here. Okay, does that kind of make sense, pile number 1? So I am going to draw the tarot cards right now because I'm very curious as to what this is. You know, and the way this can manifest, of course, it might be different for everyone watching this, but it seems like it's like a path you didn't even consider before, or it's one that looked like it was completely closed, but it's not. Something to that effect, pile number 1. Spirit team for pile 1, could you give us around 5 cards that explains more details about what this gateway and what the deception is? Thank you. Oh boy. I wish I could take 20 cards, but I can't. Let's see. There we go. Let's see what pops out. Well, for sure that one. And 5th. There we go, pile 1. Okay. So let's glean more detail. Card number 1 is the Lovers reversed. Okay. Card number 2 is the 2 of Pentacles. Okay, a little bit of a balance. Interesting. And then number 3, we have the Page of Pentacles reversed. Lots of Pentacles popping out so far. So it could be surrounding career. We'll see. Number 4, we have the 8 of Wands reversed. Okay. Something about the speed of something. And last but not least, we have the Queen of Cups. Yes, following the heart. Beautiful, pile number 1. So looking at your cards, I'm just going to look at them for a second here. Let's see. Don't fear change, embrace it, and grow. Okay. There we go. Sorry, just making the cards look a little bit neater there. Yes, so pile 1. The choice towards better pastures is something to do with balance in your life. Mainly because of the presence of the Two of Pentacles. Because you can see literally here in this card, I'll draw it out for you. This is the card of someone who is balancing things, juggling things, okay? Not only is she balancing on a bicycle, which of course, as we all know, everyone that's ever learned to ride a bicycle before, that takes balance in and of itself. But on top of that, she's not even holding the handlebars, and she's balancing 2 pentacles in her hands. So it feels like right now in your life, you've been looking for balance. You've been looking for that joy, that happiness we were just talking about in terms of greater moderation or greater feeling of control over things happening. Maybe it feels like recently a lot of things have been chaotic in your life and you're like, oh my God, how am I going to juggle all of this? This is just too much to handle. I don't know what to do. Like that sort of emotion is coming forward for me, for you. And with the Lovers reversed, it's like the cusp of something that is also bound by a choice of some sort. Or it's like you feel like you have no choice whatsoever. And that's why you're like, oh my God, like I just have to keep going and I have to grin and I have to bear it and I have to keep juggling all these things. And I don't know what is the sunshine beyond the rain here in the storm metaphor, we've been using before. And 2, with the Page of Pentacles reversed being the central card, it feels like I keep hearing out of your element. I don't know if you've had to be, like you were drawn into something recently that just doesn't feel like your normal wheelhouse. Like maybe it could be a project at work, just for one example, where you've been asked to do something and you're like, I have no idea or clue what I am doing. They put the wrong person on the project. But maybe they're like, well, we just need someone to fill this, to get this project going, something like that, or it could be, there's just been a lot of change recently and you're like, how the hell am I going to juggle all of this? Like, I feel so out of my element, like, especially because pages are the cards that are almost like the student. They're like the apprentice of the court cards of tarot. And being in Pentacles, that is the earthly material. That is the things around us. So it could be juggling a lot to do with finances or career, like I was just using in the example. Or it could be like something to do with maybe you've really recently realized you had to make a fast move to a different place to live or something along those lines, right? Pile number 1. And part of the issue is something to do with the speed of it. The 8 of Wands reversed is about something going too slow, is how I interpret it personally, okay? And you're like, oh my God, like, it's either the feeling of I need more time is the one sentiment, or it could also be the sentiment of, oh my God, this needs to go faster because I need to get out of here, or I need to get away from this juggling chaos of something that spurred from a bad choice of some sort, with the Lovers reversed having been the inciting incident card, right? And then at the end here we have the Queen of Cups, which is the card of following our heart, the card of being emotionally secure internally. It's queens are the feminine energy, which is the more introverted, internally focused type. At least with the Queen of Cups, it's the embodiment of the internal focus of water or emotions or relationships, right? And so you're like, I want to be able to follow my heart. I want to be able to just kind of dance my way. Because, I mean, here's the thing. Look how much more... It's kind of funny, actually. I just noticed this. When you look at the Two of Pentacles here and you look at the Queen of Cups, don't they just look like the same person at different ages? Pile number 1. Like, she looks like a younger version of the Queen of Cups, which is odd because they're actually from 2 different suits. Like, this is Pentacles, this is Cups. So it's like you're on your way there, pile number 1, towards Instead of being, oh my God, everything's chaotic and I'm juggling everything on a bicycle and I feel like a nut, right? Because, how can I handle all this? You're on your way there to that Queen of Cups who is, even when you look at the way that she's dancing on the beach, she's balancing almost perfectly, and she's balancing that conch shell in her hand. Or it's not a conch, I guess. I don't know what you technically call it, but it's a seashell, right? We'll just call it a seashell. She's balancing it perfectly, and she's almost at the point of just dancing. Okay, she's not struggling anymore. She's dancing fluidly, elegantly, gracefully. And so it's like you are afraid of this change. You're afraid of this chaos. Like anybody would be pile number one. Okay, you're not alone in this at all. Like everybody. I've been here before myself. For example, I was the job example I was using for my own life. Okay, having to put on a project and you're like, I don't know, they put the wrong person on this. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Feeling so out of your element, having to juggle so many things. But you're on your way there, pile number one. It's just your spirit guides are acknowledging the struggle between the, oh my God, I'm on a bicycle balancing things, to, I've got this. I'm dancing and I'm following my heart and things are okay and I feel emotionally secure about what's going on, okay? But that's the beauty of the oracle cards we read earlier, pile number one. You were on the cusp of getting there. You're almost past that rain and that shadow and that boundary between drowning under the water of the ocean of chaos to, oh, I've surfaced and I can take a breath. Even as I'm reading this for you, pile number one, I get the feeling of tightness in the chest. I don't know, maybe if you've been dealing with anxiety recently, that might manifest in the way of shortness of breath, maybe heart palpitations. It kind of manifests for everybody differently depending on your own anxiety, but at least the way that I'm feeling when I'm reading this for you is tightness of the chest of oh my God, I can't breathe. It's you're drowning is what it feels like. And like I said at the very beginning, circling back to that, the key to getting to the Queen of Cups energy of the happiness, okay, is in your perception. Because you picked distorted perceptions as your pile leader, reality is really what we were raised to believe it is. I would say, and I'll draw more cards on this pile number one, because just to reassure you, but intuitively I'm already being told you're doing a lot better than you think you're doing. Okay? So that's what I was saying before about there's something kind of off. You're not quite seeing the gateway that you're on. You don't quite see the doorway that, it's you're reaching, I see it this way. It's you're reaching for a door and you've already got your hand on the handle, pile number one. But instead of realizing that you're right on the cusp of opening the door towards that Queen of Cups, oh, I'm secure and things are all under control energy, it's it looks to you you're reaching your hand into a pit of despair of something's going to bite you when that distorted perception theme that we were talking about. And that's why that Healing Spirits Oracle, this particular one, just kind of, remember when we were shuffling, it just kind of popped out of the fly, right? Don't fear change, embrace it, and grow. They're saying, pile number one, don't fear this time, as stressful as it is, as much as it feels like you have no control and things are falling apart and things are just complete chaos. Even in the depiction of distorted perceptions here. Oopsie, there we go. Sorry, the cards just kind of keep wanting to stick together. Look at the chaos around this figure. It looks like she's in a maelstrom, in a hurricane of just chaos and color, and it almost is that fur or feathers? I can't quite tell. It's kind of different textures, right? And it's you see it as this hurricane maelstrom of chaos, but really, you're doing it a lot more gracefully than you think you are, pile number one. You're handling a lot better than you think you are. So actually, the gateway is realizing you already passed the door. You're already on your way there. You're already doing it well. And that's why they're telling you not to fear this chaos and this change and this hurricane, metaphorically speaking. Because you already have everything you need to cross that border. And you already have, technically. It's just that you haven't perceived it yet. You are already at the point of being what you wish you were in this particular situation. Does that kind of make sense, pile number one? Now, of course, I am going to draw more cards for you because I do want to ask more questions. Number one, out of my own curiosity, but as well just to, reassure you more, like I was saying before. So, shuffling the cards here. Spirit guides for pile number 1. Could you give me 3 extra cards that explains more about how do they change this perception, or how do they get to that feeling like they're the Queen of Cups energy? Thank you. What advice would you have for them on that? Okay, well, there you go. It's just literally 3 just popped out. This is oddly convenient. Thank you, Spirit Guides. There we go. I believe that was 3. It looks like it. Yeah, literally smack dab 3. Okay, beautiful. So first up we have advice is the 2 of Wands. Looking towards the future. The Chariot reversed. Okay, literally I was just talking about. It feels chaotic, doesn't it? Literally, that's what the Chariot reversed means. Okay. And then, last but not least, we have the 4 of Cups reversed. Pile number 1, what was I telling you? Okay, just hear me out. So the 4 of Cups literally is reversed. It's like you finally notice something. They're telling you, almost shaking you, notice how good you're already doing. You're not failing. Like, it's like they want to take you by the shoulders and they're like, pile 1, just, it's okay. You're doing great. But in terms of actual advice, though, how to flip that switch of perspective on yourself, okay? Let's see, 2 of Wands, Chariot reversed, and the 4 of Cups reversed. Just a moment here. Let's see, looking towards the future. I mean, pile 1, this is going to sound really redundant, so I'm sorry, but they're basically just saying the same thing, okay? And I say that because it's, the 2 of Wands is about looking towards the future, planning for the future. What are your dreams for the future, okay? And the Chariot reversed is about things feeling out of control. So it's like whenever you look to your future, they're acknowledging that you feel like, oh my God, this is pure chaos. How am I going to rein in all these? The word they're using is bee's nest. It feels like a hornet's nest, like you're trying to capture all the hornets of the bees and you're trying to like put them back in the hive. And it's like every time you reach out your hand to grab one of them, it's like something stings you. It's like, oh God, like how am I supposed to keep this under control? Complete chaos. And they're acknowledging that here once again, like we talked about earlier. But 4 of Cups reversed is saying all it takes is a switch of perspective, okay? Because literally, I mean, upright, the 4 of Cups is about apathy. It's about, oh, I'm bored, or oh, I'm not noticing something. Because literally, you can see the figure here. She is being handed something from above. It's like your spirit guides are saying, hey, listen. Literally, it's a seashell. Remember, the old, the trick you would do as a kid, you put a seashell to your ear to listen to the ocean, right? Hey, we're saying something to you, but there's a feeling of apathy, of, oh man, I'm just kind of blue, I don't know what to do. But reversed, pile number 1, which is the way it came out for you, is if you just tune your ear to listening and paying attention to the ways that you actually are succeeding, that you think you're not, you'll realize you're already in success, okay? And it might not seem like it. It might seem like you're still in the middle of that hurricane and the storms are whipping around and it's just pure chaos. But another message coming through as well, pile number 1, is to look at previous situations in your life where things were chaotic and it felt like it was completely out of control. Just picture it for a moment, right? And think about how you pulled through that time. And I bet you probably with flying colors, pile number 1, or at the very least you came through with everything intact and getting the things done that needed to get done, right? And so they're reminding you, hey, remember that last time things were a complete mess? And you did it so well? What makes you think that you're not doing well now again? What makes you think that you can't handle chaos when you've already been living chaos your entire life, pile number 1? As we all do, right? Life is chaos. That's what it is. And living is organizing the chaos. That's literally what it is, right? You do it all the time. Every time you wake up, make your breakfast, go to work, come home, take care of the kids or take care of the home, whatever it is that you do with your day-to-day life after work. That is taming chaos, pile number 1. You already do it very well. And 2, another message coming through is to appreciate yourself more for what you have handled, instead of beating yourself up for everything that feels like your hands just can't grasp. Think about what you've already held in your hands, what you've already reined in, okay? And pat yourself on the back for it, pile number 1, is what they're telling you, okay? And 2, there's an element here with the 2 of Wands about looking and dreaming towards the future. Part of what might help you through this perspective shift and just keeping up your hopes through, what seems like still a dark time is thinking about, well, what is this all leading towards? What is the goal at the end of this zigzag road? And that too will help kind of spur you on towards making it through. But it will be a lot easier if you do the perspective switch first and say, hey, wait a minute. Maybe I am handling this a lot better than I think I am. Because I guarantee it, pile number 1. There are people that would be in your position that would be doing a lot worse than you. Trust me, at least in terms of like reigning in chaos or things. Like your ability to juggle the chaos, okay? You know what I mean? So, beautiful reading, pile number 1. It's very cute, actually, because your spirit guides, it's almost like they're trying to tap you on the nose. Like, it's almost like rolling up a newspaper and just bopping you on the nose very lightly, affectionately. Like, hey, wait a minute. We're gonna snap them with the newspaper and remind them, hey, wait a minute, you can handle this. It's fine. You got it. It's just the beauty of your reality being based on the way you see it. There is some control in that, pile number 1, that you have. Okay. Seeing the pattern in the chaos. Seeing a doorway instead of a pit of doom and despair. Not that we blame you. I don't blame you. I've been there before myself. Sometimes a doorway looks like a pit of doom and despair, and you're like, I really, really just don't want to open that door. But you're going to handle it just fine, pile number 1 is what they're telling me. So that is what I will leave you with today, my lovely pile number 1. So thank you so much for tuning in for the reading today. If you liked it, if it resonated, please like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit more, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our custom, our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day with less chaos and more doorways opening. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile number 1. Okay. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 2. Welcome today to your pick a card reading on the topic of a message from your spirit guides, what they think you should hear most at the time you're viewing this video. As you recall, the card used to pick your pile was number 39, Perspective. A calm and clear mind is free to see differently. So, as is our tradition, we'll set your pile leader over here to the left. And let's draw your oracle cards on the screen right now. So spirit guides, could you guide us to the best card to depict the message you want pile 2 to hear today? Thank you. Feeling that one right there for you, pile 2. Next up, we have the Healing Spirits Oracle. Feel like that one right there for you. And last but not least, we have the Nature's Whispers Oracle for you today, pile 2. Okay, well, for sure, that one was just right about to fly out, so we'll take that. And of course, we will draw tarot cards later. We'll get to those, but first I want to focus on your oracle cards, pile 2. So, first up, from Nature's Whispers, today you received, ooh, lovely, number 47, Laughter. Very cute. Set that one over here next to the pine cone. A little bit further up. And then from Healing Spirits, today you received, Spirit Healers and Helpers are with you, number 11. Actually, sorry, I'm just going to look at this a little bit closer. Yeah, beautiful card. Surrounded. Sorry, a little bit of an intuitive message coming through. I just was listening to it. And then last but not least, we have beautiful miracles. Double rainbow here. So pile 2, I feel like there's been something that you've gone through recently that really, the word that's coming through intuitively is jostled you. And I feel like, I want to say it was like a major change. It could have been death in the family. It could have been death of just a loved one in general. It could have been something to do with your health, like maybe a health setback of some sort. And what your spirit team is saying to me, just looking at these cards and based on the intuition coming out, is that they're reminding you and reassuring you that they're very close to you right now, especially with spirit healers and helpers are with you with this card up here, number 11. I get the feeling that they've been watching you very closely lately because of the event that occurred. Now, we might glean more into what that was based on the tarot cards that come out later, but still, too, I want to focus on your oracle cards as far as like the general overall message here. So, but part of it seems bittersweet, pile 2. Because I feel like at the same time as it was a setback, there is some sort of silver lining to it. And even something as grave as death, pile 2, there can be release and relief, especially if the one that we lost was suffering, right? And so it's like you're at the cusp of something leaving your life, but at the same time, it's opening a wide door to more potential to allow other things in, is what they're telling me. And what's opening up soon is light and life and literally laughter, like your Nature's Whisper says over here. And 2, there's something about it that is going to be a lot better than you're expecting, especially because of the presence of miracles. Because literally the traditional symbolism of rainbows, at least in Western Judeo-Christian belief, was the rainbow was, I believe, sent after, was it after Noah and the flood? I believe that's what it was, right? And it was God's promise, is what they called it. You know, I'm not going to go too deep into the story because, you know, a lot of you probably already know it, but basically, though, what I'm saying is that translating to your situation, pile number 2, is it's like you've been through that deluge, through that flood of being like Noah on the ark almost. And everything around you, you actually kind of remind me of pile number 1. Maybe this is kind of a collective thing going on now with a lot of us, but it's like you've been through that deluge and that flood, and now it's like the waters are receding and you're at a high point. Or you're getting there at least. And it's like that time of reflection after the chaos. But then now looking forward and applying what you learned from this darker time to your spirit. And at the same time, knowing, okay, well now I have this clean slate. Or this new opportunity to bring in more happiness and laughter and miracles. And like I said, because of the miracles card, it's like there's something better coming that you're not even expecting. Now, those tarot cards, I'm really excited to hear that. And on top of that, I'm also really excited to know what it is, probably just as you are, because you're like, well, what could it be, right? So we'll pull that with the tarot cards. Okay. Actually, we'll do that right now. Let's pull the tarot cards. Good timing for it, right? So, and, you know, a part of this, too, is the healing that your spirit guides, and your healing spirit guides specifically, are helping you with right now, they're telling me, is because of the presence of the perspective card, literally the card you chose to pick your pile today, is they're helping you see life in a different way because of these events that have occurred recently. They're helping you to see life in a way that, 5 cards please, thank you Spirit Guides. They're helping you to see what happened from it. Oh boy, that's a lot of cards. Oh boy, I don't know if I can take that many cards. I'm going to actually just reshuffle pile number 2. Let's do that. Spirit Guides, can you give me around 5 cards, please? Thank you. I apologize. I hate putting cards away, but with my space, Spirit Team, more succinct would be good. There we go. There's 1, 2. That one is almost popping out, so we'll take it. 3. Oh my. I can barely even shuffle and the cards are just flying out. They really want to talk to you, pile number 3. Okay. So we're going to actually flip that. Okay. I'm like stuttering on screen because there's so many. I think, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll pull that one for 5. Okay. So like, we have a lot to say. Okay. Do. I even lost my train of thought there. There's just so much coming through. Like I was talking about, it's just like a flood or a deluge, right? Okay, so the first card we have is, okay, the Tower. Literally what I was saying, pile number 2. The Tower is a pivotal moment of change and of things falling down. This being the first card, it's like this is the inciting incident of everything that's going on. You had what we call in tarot space a tower moment. Literally, it feels like your world kind of just shook itself up and everything kind of just fell down. That could have manifested in, like I was saying, the death of a loved one. It could have manifested in, like a health scare that came up, or maybe a change in health that made you have to completely rewrite the way that you walk your life, you know, or live your life, right? It could have been a career type thing. Maybe you got fired from a job or let go because of, you know, they were tightening the belt financially, things like that. Either way, though, pile number 2 is just like, oh no, that feeling of falling, that, like, you know how sometimes when you're on a roller coaster, or whenever you kind of trip and you're like, oh no, I'm falling, you get that feeling in your gut. That's what I'm feeling right now intuitively from you empathically is, oh God, it feels like I've lost everything and the rug's been pulled out from underneath me, things like that. And then the Queen of Cups, okay. Talk about that more in a second. King of Pentacles, okay. See, it looks like there's some good things coming. Ace of Cups, beautiful. Yeah, it's like you're completely rewriting, and then, oh yeah, Page of Swords. It's like you're completely rewriting your life, pile number 2. Gorgeous. Let me look over these for a moment. I'm also just going to take a quick sip. Well, I'll tell you this, pile number 2. There are a lot of good things coming. I know I already said that before because of the Miracles card. Like the rainbow after the rain. But literally, I mean, every single card you got after that initial kind of nasty Tower moment of massive pivotal change is a positive card. The Queen of Cups is about following your heart. King of Pentacles is about manifestation of materials around you. So, you know, good luck with jobs, good luck with finances, things like that. Ace of Cups, okay, is about new emotions, new relationships, okay? Like I was saying, you know, especially if it was like a death in the family, pile number 2. Sometimes when people leave our lives, it opens us up to new relationships with others, or taking the love that we shared with that person that left, the gifts that they shared with us, and the lessons that they taught us, and passing on the torch and handing it to someone new, okay? It's kind of the message that's coming through here. And then the Page of Swords, yes, is really emblematic of a time of you figuring out where you want to aim your bow next. Where you want to turn your mind to next. So, pile 2, I really want to reassure you, as does your Spirit Team, obviously, because, I mean, look at the tarot cards. I could hardly, like, keep the tarot cards from all flipping out, right? But, they really wanted to talk to you today. Let's see. Of course, they always do, but they were especially excited. they're really reassuring you, as am I, that there's a lot of really good things coming. Okay, so this reading is obviously a bit more of a comfort reading to you, reassurance. And especially in the areas of your emotions and your career and figuring out direction in life. These are the areas that are, I'm seeing a good forecast for, is the best way I'll put it, right? Because of the Queen of Cups and the Ace of Cups. That's about, being able to follow the heart now. And Ace of Cups is about new relationships, new emotions, okay? Newness in that area. King of Pentacles, like I was saying, is a fantastic card to get in terms of finances and career. So things are blossoming that way. And then, like I said, too, Page of Swords, all about, it's actually about exploring the mind. Like I was saying, where do you want to go to next, pile number 2? I feel like there's an aspect of this loss or this change that actually freed you up in some sort of way. Okay, I don't know, maybe if you were a caretaker for someone who died, or it's possible that it was like a health thing where something had to be removed, and now that it's removed, now you're healthier again, or you got something changed in that area that made you a lot healthier, or you know what I mean? I'm thinking like a pacemaker for some reason, or something along those lines with health. And yes, there's been a time of recovery, and there's been a time of loss and suffering, but at the same time, there's just so much good coming your way, pile number 2. And it's almost like, seeing that rainbow after the rain, after the deluge. Because it's like for so long you were on that boat, on that ark, wondering, okay, when is the storm going to end? And then finally now the rain's clearing. And it's like, oh. Yes, there's still wounds to be mended. And that's why your spirit team is with you very closely right now, like we were talking about, especially the healing ones. They're like, okay, this person needs a little bit of a mending of the soul, okay? They brought out their soul mending kit, and they're getting back to sewing you up a little bit. But at the same time, part of that is reminding you that good things can come. Now, I'm going to ask more specificity, pile number 2, because you're probably just as curious as I am. Because I can say, oh, things are coming with relationships and emotions, and things good are coming with career, but that's not very specific. So let's try to get more details on that. I might actually ask 2 extra questions for you today, because it's 2 different areas of life, right? So pile number 2, spirit team. Could you tell us more about what good is coming in terms of the heart and relationships? 3 cards, please. Thank you. And hopefully not 20. Thank you. Not to be sassy, but... Okay, thank you. Literally 3 cards just popped out. Wow, they're prompt. I have a feeling this message was a long time in the making. Pile number 2. Okay. We have the King of Swords reversed. Okay. It's quite contextual, so we'll see what else pops out. I love that King of Swords, though. It's probably one of my favorite depictions of a King of Swords. The Two of Pentacles reversed. All right. And last but not least, we have the Lovers. Okay, pile number 2. In terms of what's good that's coming and with feelings and relationships. Okay. I would almost say wherever in terms of relationships you've been lacking balance or logic, there is change coming in a positive way. I say that because the King of Swords is literally like the king of logic and communication, being the air element suit, right? And then the Two of Pentacles is about balancing things, especially in terms of finances, right? So I don't know if it's like... Very interesting. But with the Lovers here, it's yeah, I mean, sometimes that can mean literally a good choice. That's the traditional interpretation of the Lovers, but it can literally mean like a relationship, pile number 2. So if you've been looking for love, I'm going to tell you, I think there is a partner coming your way that is someone who will bring balance and a little bit more like... I see them as someone who is very like logical. They're almost kind of like that King of Swords. Someone who is... I know it's technically reversed, but it's like they're making up for that lack of something in your life, okay, in terms of balance and in terms of, like, they help you think clearer is kind of what I'm seeing with that King of Swords energy. That, or if you are currently in a relationship, it's like there's something really, really positive coming along for the current relationship that you're in at the time that you view this video, okay? Like right now they're reversed, so it's like there's been like a lack of balance in the relationship, or there's been like a lack of logic in the relationship, and it's like that's gonna turn around. Okay, and it's gonna, you know, I mean, you can literally see, I mean, look at the, you know what I mean, look at the lovers right here. I really don't have to explain it much, but, you know, for some of you, especially for those of you that are in, like, say, girlfriend or boyfriend type relationships, you're not quite at the point of being married, I almost would interpret that as maybe a proposal, okay? And then for those of you that, like I said, that are not currently in a relationship, but maybe are looking for one, or at least you're open-minded to one, right? I think there's one coming for you. So that is good thing number one in terms of emotions and relationships, like we were talking about. But then we also have what's coming in finances, especially with the King of Pentacles you received earlier, because I was like, something really good with finances coming. Because that's what the King of Pentacles is all about. He's the master of earth. He's the master of the material of career and money, things like that, and home, and the physical stuff around us, I guess, is probably the more blunt way to put it, right? But, so Spirit Team of pile number 2, could you give me 3 cards explaining the abundance with finances, that King of Pentacles we talked about earlier that's coming their way? Thank you. Definitely a lift your spirits kind of reading, which I always love to give pile number 2. It's my favorite kind of reading, honestly, is, hey, things are going to be great. So, it's odd. This is the first time that they've not thrown cards out. I might interpret that as it's kind of a surprise, but let's see what came out. So, in terms of the financial good things coming your way, we have the Page of Wands. All right. Page of Wands. Interesting. We have the 3 of Swords reversed. Beautiful. Gorgeous card to get with finances. And then we have the 10 of Wands reversed. Also gorgeous, pile number 2. You literally got some of the best cards in the deck for when I ask how are finances or material things going to get better. Wonderful. Okay, let me just explain. Sorry, I know it sounds like I'm like exaggerating, but I'm not. So we'll talk about the Page of Wands in a second, but literally the 3 of Swords reversed is about overcoming pain, and the 10 of Wands reversed is about overcoming burdens. So that's why I said this is really positive. Oh my God, I'm so excited for your pile number 2. So literally, in terms of areas of your life with finance right now where you've been feeling burden or pain, that's going to change with finances, okay? And specifically with the presence of the Page of Wands. Pages in tarot are like students or their apprentices or they're people that are new to things. I almost feel like there's an inclination for you to follow a passion in terms of your career. And following that passion, especially because Wands are fire, and fire is literally like things that are creative or things that are like spark our energy or our willpower, or sometimes it can mean ego as well, but I tend to read fire as like the creativity type element. Things that spark, you know, you're interested in as a hobby, you're interested in creatively, okay? It would be a great time to really look into what lights my fire in terms of what would make me excited to get out of bed every morning when it comes to a job or a career, and following that. And they're saying, should you decide to do that, become that Page of Wands, exploring something new with your passions in terms of your career or finances, pain will end and the burden will be released. Okay, that's why I was saying these are really positive. Okay, so beautiful reading, pile number 2. And I think overall, you know, circling back even to your pile leader here with perspective, like it says, a calm and clear mind is free to see differently. Right now, when you're in the thick of the sadness and the loss and the pain, it is hard to see the silver lining. Because right now, everything looks like shadows, or everything looks like the absence of something. But in the future, I think when you look back on this time, your spirit team is saying, you're going to realize that this was just the catalyst to a time of a lot more happiness and a lot more sunshine. Miracles. Literally, like I was saying with that card earlier. The rainbow after the rain. A time of more laughter. Things like that. Seeking joy in life rather than feeling burdened down by emotions, by loss, and pain. Things like that. So, once again, super excited to be able to deliver that message to you, pile number 2. Things are looking up and things are perking up. You know, so keep up faith. Because there's a lot of good stuff coming. Especially like this one. I was like, I saw those 2 cards and I was like, hell yeah. No. But yeah, so that is what I'll leave you with today, my wonderful pile number 2. So as always, if you liked the reading, if it resonated with you, please like, comment, or subscribe to the channel if you have not done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our tradition on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 2. Bye. Hello there, my lovely pile number 3. Welcome to your pick a card reading today. That is a message from your spirit guides, what they want you to hear most at the time you're viewing this reading. As you recall, your pile leader was number 35, Presence of Absence. Hold what is absent in the presence of your love. So, as is our tradition, we'll set the pile leader over here to the left, and then we're going to draw your oracle cards on screen right away, right now. There we go. So, spirit guides, can you help lead us to the best cards to explain your message to pile 3? Thank you. Oh, definitely that one. Alright, and next deck we have the Healing Spirits. No, that was not a good shuffle. Let's try that again. Some decks, man. There we go. A lot better. I recommend if you're ever shuffling oracle decks, try to shuffle from the corners. That helps. Okay. Definitely that one. Okay. And then we have Nature's Whispers. Right there. And of course we will unveil tarot cards later. We'll draw those later, but let's first focus on your oracle cards today, pile 3. So first up from the Nature's Whispers, you received number 7, amplify your positive emotions. Okay, a little girl who is, well, fairy technically, I think, with the wings. She is in the pond looking at the ripple effect from her actions. Amplify your positive emotions. And then we have from Healing Spirits today, 25, you are your purpose. A little bit of heart and crown chakra, third eye. Actually, that's more, third eye, yep. Beautiful. And last but not least, from the Sacred Destiny, we have Wonders. Always love kind of spacey cards. Gorgeous. So let's take a gander and see what your message is about, at least from your oracle cards, pile 3. So I'm just going to take a sip of my drink here. You know, pile 3, I feel like you're in a time of life right now where something came to an end and you're at the moment after the finale of one chapter of your life and you're kind of wondering, well, now what? That's literally kind of the question that's coming forward from your spirit team. Well, now what? And the reason I say that is because not only presence of absence over here, hold what is absent in the presence of your love. It's like you've lost something. or it's like some sort of chapter. The imagery I'm seeing is like a chapter book closing on one chapter, but then a new page opening fresh, ready to be written in. And even though there's that brand new, fresh, open page ready for you, a part of you is still focused on the chapter before, and a part of you is still wondering, well, what the heck am I going to write next? It's like you're at a point in your life where there is a lot of opportunity to follow some dreams that maybe you didn't have the chance to follow before. And I feel like, too, there's some element of a major life lesson you've learned recently. And now that soul purpose has been fulfilled in you, even at an unconscious, deep soul level, you feel a little lost, is the word I want to use. But I don't necessarily see it as a wholly bad thing that occurred. Yes, technically, when a chapter closes, there can be some sad feelings, pile number 3. Especially like maybe you lost someone, especially with presence of absence. It's actually kind of been of a theme for a lot of the piles today is, like, at least pile 2, it was like losing someone. This particular depiction of presence of absence, I mean, you can tell this is probably a widow, and it's her husband in the picture in the back on the wall. But even though he's gone, she's looking at her grandchildren or her children on the pictures in front of her. She's taking what he shared with her, love, right? And she's carrying that torch forward to something new, aka children and grandchildren, at least in her case, right? For you, it might be something different. Or maybe it is literally the same thing. Maybe, a partner died or a family member passed away. And it's like, you're like, well, now what? I feel kind of lost. I feel kind of aimless. It's like a lot of maybe your purpose or the life lesson we were talking about was deriven from whatever this chapter close was or what you were doing before, right? And what your spirit guides are excited to tell you is, well, that's the beauty of now what? Anything. Okay. It's a really good time, pile number 3, for you to look at things you weren't able to do before. Dreams you had that you felt like you either didn't have the time or the ability to chase because of the restrictions of that previous chapter of your life, whatever those might be. And it's funny because it's almost like you're being invited to view the world like a child again. A little bit of leaning into that inner child energy of, not looking at the imagery they're showing me is like not looking at the boundaries of the playground of, okay, these are the restrictions I have, but looking at the playground itself in front of you and realizing, look at all this new stuff I can explore. It's like literally like a kid finding a new playground to play at. Oh, look at this new thing I can go climb on, and I can see how strong I am on these monkey bars, and I can see how high these swings go. Okay, it's a lot more of a time of fun coming your way, a lot more of a time of excitement and exploration, okay? It's like I almost see you shipping out on a boat. Maybe you literally are going off to travel somewhere, pile number 3. Moving somewhere. And now that your purpose with whatever was lost or ended is done, there's a new purpose. You are your purpose. And so it's also a time of exploration, not just of more of the outside world, pile number 3. It's more of an exploration of you. Because maybe you had to put yourself on the back burner a bit before, and now you're on the front burner. Okay, what do we do and what do we cook up with this opportunity, okay? So let's pull your tarot cards, because I want to make sure I get to those not too far into the reading, right? And, too, because of Amplify Your Positive Emotions, I feel like there is, combined with Presence of Absence, hold what is absent in the presence of your love, there are ripple effects from what you lost or had to let go that will amplify and touch other lives in what you do now, okay? So that might be part of what they want to talk to you about today is, 5 cards, please, Spirit Guides, thank you. What they want to talk to you about today is what you might do to touch other lives in a positive way based on what you learned from the previous chapter of your life, right? And also your own, pile number 3. Okay, let's see. 1, and 5. Let's unveil your cards here, pile 3. So first up, we have the 5 of Cups reversed, overcoming times of sorrow. Like I was just telling you, I don't know, maybe you did lose someone, pile number 3, in which case my condolences. I definitely know how that feels, especially recently myself, so... It's like it's even funny, because I'll hold it up right here for you. She's literally is like looking down, and she's got her hand on her face, just like the older woman here in this particular card that you picked as your pile leader. But the time of sadness is over, they're saying, pile number 3. And then we have, Knight of Cups, taking action with the heart. Remember what I was saying? You are your purpose now. Following your own dreams. Pile number 3, beautiful reading. Gorgeous. Then we have the Chariot, taking the reins and going in the direction you want to go. Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. Pile 3, if you ever had a dream you always wanted to go after, now is the time. Number 4, we have the Ace of Wands reversed. Okay, so a little bit of maybe... we'll talk about that more in tandem with everything else later, but it could be a little bit of an advice card. And then we have the 4 of Wands, happiness at home and celebration with others. Beautiful, pile number 3. So yeah, I literally, like I was saying, I'll just reiterate it. If there was any time you wanted to follow a dream of yours, pile number 3, now would be the time to do it. They're saying now is the great time to follow your own dreams, follow your purpose. And as much as serving other people, I think might be a core of your identity, of being of service to others, this chapter of your life is about being of service to self a little bit more. Not in a selfish way, pile number 3, but in a way of filling your own cup after whatever it was that ended or you lost had spilled your cup out, okay? And yeah, not in a negative connotation, of course. I mean, there's a lot of pleasure and joy in filling the cups of others, but at the same time, you also need to fill your own cup, pile number 3. You need to go on your own adventures and follow your own North Stars, right? See where the sails and the winds take you. So yeah, I mean, literally, 5 of Cups reversed is like overcoming a time of sorrow. That was the before, pile number 3. And now, literally, full speed ahead. So the Knight of Cups, I'll just explain a little bit more about my reasoning here, just to reassure you where I'm coming from. So the Knight of Cups is about taking action with our emotions or our feelings, our dreams, things like that. And right next to it, the Chariot is the card about taking the reins of life and having control and direction and going full speed ahead with things, okay? So literally take action on your emotions or your dreams. Full speed ahead is what these two cards mean together after a time of sorrow, with the 5 of Cups reversed at the beginning. There is a little bit of a setback with the Ace of Wands reversed here. Not a bad one. Just that in the Ace of Wands reversed is about feeling like we lack a spark here. Oh, cute. There's little hummingbirds. Beautiful. I didn't notice that before. Cute little hummingbirds. They're going after the flowers. And so I think that the Ace of Wands reversed is a little bit of your indecision kind of energy. It's a little bit of like, well, what do I do with this ember that I've been given, this opportunity I've been given? Or maybe you're even at the point of like, well, what are my dreams? I've had to put them on the back burner so much. What do I want from life? Okay. And so maybe that's how that Ace of Wands reversed is manifesting in your life, pile number 3. But at the end of it, though, here with the 4 of Wands, we see happiness in the home. Maybe, like I said, maybe you're traveling, maybe you're even moving. Okay, that can be what the 4 of Wands means, a happy home. It can also mean times of celebration, like you see the feminine figures here, the women that are dancing together, having a grand old time, right? Happiness with friends, happiness with family, okay? So if you needed a little bit of a nudge in a direction of where to take this opportunity, where to go with your dreams, happiness with the home and celebrating with others is a really, really good maybe direction to look into. Okay. Of course, you always have free will. You don't always have to follow what a tarot reading tells you, but that might be a little bit of a nudge in the right direction of where your spirit guides are kind of saying, hey, look at following your dreams in the areas of where you live and with the people you spend time with. Okay. Yeah, just a gorgeous reading, pile number 3. It's like you've been holding your breath for a very long time. And now you can finally release it, and you're like, oh, oxygen. Whew. Okay, I can breathe again. Like a time of having held your breath, waiting for something, and then it's like, okay, now the time to hold the breath is over, and it's time to let it out and breathe in new air again, is at least the empathic feeling I'm getting off of your reading for you. I do want to ask more questions for you, though, of course, because this can manifest in so many different ways. I know we did talk about that it might be something about, happiness in the home, or like moving, or like celebrations with others here with the 4 of Wands, but I do want to glean a little bit more concrete details out of this for you. So I'm trying to think of a good question to ask. Number 1, I want to ask, I think would be good, is to... what positive aspects of the chapter before would they encourage you to bring into the after? Like, what lessons to bring forward, or what emotions to bring forward, or things that you learned. 3 cards, please, spirit guides. Thank you. Especially with amplify your positive emotions. It's like, as harrowing as the last chapter of your life might have been, pile 3, there's something positive to bring forward that will amplify into the next chapter. So we have the Star reversed, okay. Talk about that more in a second. 4 of Cups reversed, okay, paying attention. And we have the 10 of Cups reversed, okay. So, pile 3, I feel like whatever just happened in your life that left you feeling kind of empty and sad, that chapter ending we were talking about, there's something about, what's the best way to put it? I'm really drawn to that presence of absence card again that you chose as your pile leader in connection with these 3 cards, because it's like after this time of loss and endings, it's like a part of you lost hope or faith in the future with the Star reversed over here. And a part of you lost, especially hope or faith in happily ever afters, because that's literally what the 10 of Cups means, but reversed, it's like a lack of a happily ever after. And then, yeah, the 4 of Cups reversed is about finally paying attention to something. I think this is, number 1, a reflection of the areas of your life that maybe have been lacking recently, or that you haven't even noticed have deteriorated a little bit because you've been so focused on what was happening before. And now, especially with the 4 of Cups reversed, it's like, that's reversed. It's a card of like, oh, now I see it. I'm paying attention to that. Really rekindling and normally I wouldn't say this with the Star, but the way I'm feeling it for you is rekindling your hope and faith and spirituality, pile number 3. Maybe you've kind of slid a little bit farther back on any spiritual practices you have, depending on your religion or your beliefs. Everyone's going to be different watching this, right? But maybe even little rituals you do for yourself, because even like the figure here in the Star, she is looking down and she's almost pouring tea for herself. Maybe you used to do something like, you'd have tea every day, or you'd meditate every day, or you'd go to church every Sunday, or and whatever your particular religion or beliefs are, of course. And maybe that kind of slid to the back burner for a while. Once again, it's like you put yourself on the back burner for a while because you had to. And now they're saying this would be a good opportunity for you to bring that forward again, okay? Turn that Star upside down. Same thing with the 10 of Cups reversed. Feeling like there was no happily ever after. There's a lack of happily ever afters. Really focus on, what do you want from life, pile number 3? What would be your happily ever after? If you could picture it in your mind right now, just closing your eyes, what does happily ever after look like to you? Okay. And same thing too with, especially if it was like a person that you lost. Part of the positive things to bring forward here are the way that they saw or had hope and faith in things, and the way that they depicted like their happily ever after. Like, let's say you lost like a family member or a loved one, however that specifically applies to you, pile number 3. What was their happily ever after, and what was their hope and their faith? And explore those things. Because I feel like, or I say maybe it was like a job that you lost. Okay, same thing. You can kind of extrapolate that more to, what hopes did you have for that job? Or what did happily ever after look like for that job, even if you didn't technically meet or get there, right? Because by focusing on those positive things, what was the silver lining of the situation? What were the positive aspects of, say, if it was a person you lost? What were the greatest possible outcomes that, even if it didn't come to fruition that way, could have happened? Okay? And focus on that kernel and that grain of happiness and those positive emotions, right? With amplify positive emotions. And that will help that ring all the clearer in this next chapter of your life as you follow your goals, okay? It's almost like a lot of what happened in the previous chapter was you sifting through a lot of the way they're showing it to me is almost like a war zone, pile number 3. Like you sifting through a war zone, trying to find a diamond in the rough. And by focusing on these positive emotions, the silver linings of what happened or who these people were that you lost, taking the diamond that gave you or they gave you and bringing it forward into the new chapter will help amplify those things coming to fruition all the greater this time. Okay? Maybe even developing on a dream that, say the person you lost had, and you're taking the dream that they had and you're saying, okay, the love that they shared with me, I'm going to bring that forward and take the seed of it and plant it, and I'm going to have it grow and be all the more fruitful and available to even more people, even if they're gone. Right, pile 3. Or same thing, like I said, if it's a job, similar. What were the positive aspects of what I lost that I can use to plant a seed for better, happily ever after, and hope and faith in the future this time? Okay. And yeah, the 4 of Cups reversed is about, like I was saying, paying attention to things, okay? They're saying there's things that you need to bring forward to your notice regarding hope and faith and happily ever afters with what happened before. And using that for the future. And then I think I do want to ask just one last question for you, pile 3. I want to ask a little bit more. Now, you're going to be different depending on who is watching this as to what your happily ever after looks like, what your next chapter, what your purpose looks like. But I do want to get just maybe a little bit more of a nudge beyond just the 4 of Wands we had earlier about what to explore more that your spirit guides would encourage you to. So let's ask that. 3 cards, please, spirit guides. What do you want them to explore more in this new chapter? Oh boy. Okay. Almost all those cards just flipped out. We have the 10 of Wands. Okay. Empress. Beautiful. And the High Priestess reversed. Okay, so part of that, we were talking before maybe about getting back to spirituality or spiritual practices you had. The High Priestess reverse tells me that maybe right now you're not listening to your gut enough. Maybe it's been a lot about instinctual survival and very earthly things for a while. One area that they're kind of nudging you to focus on more in this new chapter, pile 3, is listening to your intuition more. That's literally what the High Priestess reversed is all about. Needing to listen to your gut more and developing spiritual abilities, okay? So that's one area they would recommend that you maybe explore more. Number 2, they have the 10 of Wands, which is all about burdens, okay? Really focus on in this new chapter about what would make your life easier, okay? And trying to cull out the things that make it more difficult and plant more seeds for things that make it simpler, Okay. 2 with the Empress, which is, like I was saying, it's just a beautiful card when it comes out. It's about feminine energy, but it's also about creation energy and growing things and nurturing things, okay? That literally could be, if you're interested, focusing on, building a family of your own if you haven't already done that, or if you're interested in that, like I said, literally, because it can mean the pregnancy card, right? But it can also mean bringing to fruition creative ideas. That's another manifestation of the Empress. Creative projects you always wanted to do that maybe you couldn't do before, pile 3. Okay. And taking, the decay and the loss of what was, and using that material to grow new again, okay? Because that really is the cycle of life, even, I won't say the cheesy circle of life pun from, like, The Lion King, but you know what I'm trying to say is, like, literally, things pass, and from the things passing, that feeds something else, which becomes something else, which feeds new life, right? Literally the circle of life. And so I feel like this period of time in your life is even, it's funny too, because literally, like, the Ten of Wands is a farmer. He's growing something in, it almost looks like, they're wands technically, but it's like corn stalks because they're tall in new rows. I mean, maybe even gardening or farming would be a good idea if you're into that, because especially with the Empress next to that particular depiction of the Ten of Wands, maybe looking into that. But definitely at least creative projects, right? Taking what was given to you, or what you lost, or what's left of what's lost, and planting new seeds with it, especially with that farmer depiction next to the Empress, okay? So yeah, just a very fruitful time, pile number 3. Okay. Because when we lose, we make space for new. So that is what I will leave you with today, my wonderful pile number 3. As always, if you liked the reading, if it resonated, please like, comment, and or subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet. That just helps me out a little bit, which helps me provide more readings for both you and others in the future. And as is our custom on the channel, I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And I hope to see you in the next reading, pile 3s. Bye.